What's going on, guys? Chris here from NamasteGaming, and today I've got something a bit different for you. On Monday, ArenaNet's studio design director for Guild Wars 2, Chris Whiteside, did an Ask Me Anything session on Reddit. I found some of the questions and answers pretty interesting and wanted to share some of the better ones with you, and maybe throw my hat into the ring for a couple of them. I'd love to hear everyone's input on this stuff, so feel free to comment as you watch, and we'll get some good discussion going. Let's kick it off. So this first one is kind of wordy, but the gist of it is that this player feels like the current direction of Guild Wars 2 forces you to commit to one build and misses the versatility of the system in Guild Wars 1. Mr. Whiteside responds by saying he agrees and would love the ability to swap builds, including armor, and that this is something they'll be paying attention to. I know a few of us have been looking forward to that change, myself included, and it's good to know that it's on their radar. What I find more interesting, however, is what he didn't address. The fact that gearing optimally for one build means your armor is subpar for another. It feels like he's trying to establish the point that, like most other MMOs, you'll need multiple gear sets for multiple builds, and that's just plain how it is. Personally, I'm fine with this, especially since a set of rare gear is reasonably cheap, and will do you just fine until you can upgrade. But I can see why some people might be a bit upset over it. Next question. A lot of profession builds are not optimal for general PvE because of the lack of party-driven content, basic enemy AI, or the little diversity in the enemy's skills. Do you agree with this? Whiteside responds pretty much saying that he agrees and wants to work on creatures and open-world PvE content to really expose how deep the combat system can be when all of the different facets of a character's build are taken into account. This actually sounds great to me. I thought it was a shame that the vast majority of mobs in the game tend to just auto-attack and do the occasional big hit, considering the potential that the combat system offers. The other great thing about this is that if they go back and refresh some of the lower level zones with these kinds of changes, the population will be distributed a little more evenly as higher level players funnel into the zones to check out the new shinies. This next one's a gooder. Fractals have become the end-all for making your character stronger. Players are vanishing from maps everywhere to grind for the now strongest items that they can get a hold of. It's disruptive to the community, the fun, and the manifesto. What is being done about this? Bam, son! No punches pulled with that one. Strong question gets a strong answer. Whiteside replies saying that they made a mistake with the way they implemented Ascended gear, that they want players to be able to continue doing the things they love without having to all migrate to a specific part of the world, and that soon Ascended gear will adhere to these rules. To everyone who thought that Ascended gear was going to turn this game into a WoW-style dungeon grind, that answer should get you sorted. Soon you'll be able to get it through the same avenues that you can take to get any exotics. Now, the next question is way too long to put on screen since there's a laundry list of suggestions attached, but it boils down to what's coming down the pipe for World v World. The answer is, you can expect to see some significant content dropping in this area of the game in the near future. We are working a lot on not just new content for this area of the game, but also progression, reward, and beacon mechanics. This is good stuff. World v World right now is pretty much a playground that gives decent XP and karma. Adding more incentive, content, and tactical tools, which I'm assuming will be the use of the beacons, should result in some try-hard strategic gameplay. I'm all for anything that decreases the zerginess of World v World. The next question is short and sweet, but should clear up some doubts. Does the decision to add Ascended gear, gating, and vertical progression to the game come from ANET itself, or from Nexon? Whiteside replies very plainly, ANET. We have no connection to Nexon in terms of development direction, or at all as far as I know. To those of you who are afraid that Nexon's acquisition of a large chunk of ANET stock was going to result in the game coming down with a fatal case of Activision syndrome, there you go. Nexon's keeping their filthy little fingers out of the pudding. The last one we're going to cover here is not so much related to the question, but is actually a quote from Mike O'Brien, the president of ArenaNet himself, regarding the game and its future direction. There's a few items of interest in here, so I'm going to break it into chunks. I hope we've been really clear that Guild Wars 2 is not a game with virtually no stat progression in it like Guild Wars 1 was. That's why Guild Wars 2 shipped with a higher level cap and a hard separation between PvE and PvP. In Guild Wars 1, we never advanced the level cap through 4 expansions. The game design didn't allow for it. But Guild Wars 2 was designed without those restrictions, and we've always expected that we will someday raise the level cap. Whoa. Wasn't really expecting that one, honestly. I don't know how to feel about this, and I guess it really comes down to how they handle it. I've always felt like raising the level cap is lazy game design, and is usually used more as a way of forcing people into buying expansions more than anything else. No one wants to be level 80 when all of their friends are level 90, right? But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one until I see some details. Continuing on, he says, I wonder if the core sentiment regarding Ascended Gear is more this. It's only been 2.5 months, we don't even all have exotics yet, and already you're introducing another tier. Is this the start of a power progression curve that I'll never be able to keep up with? Yeah, that does seem to be the worry. So what does he have to say to address that fear? This is a mouthful. I'll leave it up on the screen here and you can pause if you want to read it through, but to summarize, they want to have some progression without forcing players onto a gear treadmill. Here's what to take away from this whole thing. More than any other design team I've seen, ArenaNet is patently aware of the issues and challenges faced by their game. What's great for us is that they are willing to accept criticism, hear out the community, and admit to their mistakes. It may seem like slow going for the gaming community since we're so used to instant gratification, but have faith in these guys. And if you're sick of the game, hey, there's no subscription fee. Go play something else for a bit, come back, and check things out later. Above all, make sure you're having fun, and don't fall into the trap of treating the game like a job. This game really isn't made for that kind of playstyle anyway. And on that note, I'd love an opportunity to game with more of you guys. We're still slowly getting things together for the guild on Isle of Janthir, so send me a message on Facebook or tweet at me on Twitter if you want an invite, and my Xbox Live gamer tag, Steam profile, and all that social media info are all in the description below. That wraps up my highlight reel of Chris Whiteside's Ask Me Anything session. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking the like button, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe by clicking the giant button on the right. There's a lot more good stuff on the way. Love y'all. Stay black.